Title: The Spirit of Mae Nak's Curse. The Sinister Invitation. Bangkok's skyline shimmered under the golden sunset, but on the city's outskirts, darkness settled like an omen. Deep in the Phra Kanong district, where modern buildings clashed with ancient shrines, an old, decrepit house stood untouched for decades. It had belonged to Mae Nak, the vengeful spirit whose legend had terrified generations. Few dared to walk near it at night, let alone step inside. But 4 university friends, Thanam, Precha, Kamon, and Mayarehad, accepted a dare: spend one night in the house and prove the ghost of Mae Nak was nothing more than folklore. As they pushed open the rotting wooden doors, a gust of cold air rushed past them, carrying the scent of rotting jasmine flowers. The candle Precha lit flickered violently, casting long, writhing shadows on the peeling walls. A sudden thud echoed from deep within the house, like something heavy falling over. The air grew thick, suffocating, as if the walls themselves were closing in. Then a whisper low, almost imperceptible, brushed against their ears. "You shouldn't have come." A chill crawled up their spines as the floor beneath them creaked in protest, as if something unseen was shifting just below the surface. 2. Echoes of the past. The house was eerily silent, save for the faint hum of mosquitoes. Dust and cobwebs coated the furniture, untouched since the mid-19th century. A portrait of a young woman, her dark eyes sorrowful yet piercing, hung above the fireplace. "That's Mae Nak," Mayare whispered. Precha scoffed. "They say she died during childbirth, waiting for her husband to return. But ghosts aren't real." The moment he spoke, a sudden, unnatural wail filled the air. The walls seemed to vibrate, and the temperature dropped sharply. A baby's cry echoed from the back room. That was just the wind, right?" Thanam stammered, clutching his arms. "Come on," the skeptic laughed nervously and shone his flashlight toward the hallway. "See? Nothing there." Then, footsteps sounded on the wooden floor above them, slow, deliberate, and too heavy to be a trick of the wind. A shadow darted past the doorway, disappearing before their eyes. A single bloody handprint appeared on the wooden wall beside them, dripping fresh. A faint giggle distorted and unnatural slithered through the air. A mirror at the end of the hallway cracked on its own, splintering outward as if something had been watching them from inside. 3. The presence revealed. Despite their instincts screaming at them to run, the group climbed the creaking stairs, their breaths shallow. The air grew dense with an invisible weight, as if something unseen was pressing down on them. Mayare gasped and pointed toward the end of the hall. A shadowy figure, draped in a tattered silk sarong, stood motionless. Though her face was obscured by darkness, her shape was unmistakable. "Sawadee-ka." A voice whispered from the shadow, soft, sweet, and impossibly close to Mayare's ear. A sharp, icy hand clamped onto her wrist. Screaming, she tore free, stumbling into Cayman, who had gone deathly pale. The figure moved, gliding toward them with unnatural speed. Her head tilted at an unsettling angle, her lips forming words they couldn't understand. Precha threw the candle toward the spirit and ran. The others followed, tearing down the stairs in blind terror. The wailing grew louder behind them, mixing with distorted whispers of a lullaby. A mirror in the hallway shattered violently, reflecting Mae Nak's face-eyes black voids, mouth stretched unnaturally wide, revealing jagged, broken teeth. A baby's cradle in the corner of the room began to rock on its own, creaking with a slow, menacing rhythm. Then, in the dim candlelight, a pair of skeletal hands crawled across the floor, their nails scratching deep grooves into the wood. 4. The mark of Mae Nak. They reached the door, yanking at the rusted handle, but it wouldn't budge. The house had sealed them inside. The whispers became clearer now. "You will not leave." A sudden force flung Thanam across the room. He hit the wall, gasping as dark bruises bloomed across his arms, fingerprints that weren't his own. Then, the portrait of Mae Nak fell from the wall, revealing a hidden door behind it. Kamon, shaking, pushed it open. A long-forgotten room, lined with rotting wooden cribs, greeted them. In the center lay a decomposed body clutching a small bundle of fabric. Mayare choked on a sob. Her baby. She never let go. As if on cue, Mae Nak appeared in the doorway. This time, her face was clear, half decayed, her mouth stretched in an inhuman wail. "Why did you wake us?" she moaned. "Stay forever." A bloody tear slid down her cheek, and the room filled with the echoes of wailing infants. A chill crawled up their spines as the shadows around them shifted, revealing hundreds of watching eyes, their glows flickering like dying embers. The escape. Precha, in sheer desperation, grabbed the bundle from the corpse's grasp. The air erupted in a violent wind, howling with Mae Nak's fury. "Go!" he screamed, shoving the others toward the door. The ghost shrieked, lunging toward them. But as Precha held the bundle out, she froze, her blackened eyes locked on the cloth. For a moment, silence. Then, she let out a mournful cry and vanished into dust. The doors burst open. They stumbled into the night, gasping, the weight of unseen eyes following them until they reached the city streets. Only then did they dare look at the bundle. Inside was a shriveled, ancient toy wrapped in silk. Mae Nak whispered. She just wanted her child remembered. Precha, usually the skeptic, wiped his face. Then, let's not forget. They burned the cloth at dawn, hoping the flames would finally let Mae Nak rest. But as the fire crackled, a faint, familiar whisper floated through the air. "Don't leave me again." A sudden gust of wind snuffed out the flames. In the ashes, a tiny blood-stained footprint remained. Then, from the far end of the street, the sound of a baby crying echoed once more. The end.